Welcome to the Geeks and Greeks podcast, where we bring you the latest and greatest in the world of sports. We couldn't be more thrilled to kick off this exciting journey with all of you. In this podcast, we'll dive into everything from game recaps to news and hot takes. Whether you're a diehard fan or just someone looking to stay in the loop, there's something here for everyone. So grab your favorite team's jersey, settle in with some snacks, and let's get ready for an adrenaline-packed ride through the world of sports. That is the fans in the NBA arenas as we watch the NBA playoffs going on, especially down here in Indiana as the Pacers have clinched the berth to the Eastern Conference Finals for the second year in a row, as they did also make it last year.
Yeah.
However, we probably will not have a repeat of last year's Eastern Conference Finals. As last year they played the Boston Celtics, and with Jason Tatum going down with his Achilles injury in the last game, I don't see Boston coming back from a 3-1 deficit with him going down, but we'll find out as they are in Game 5 right now against New York. We'll see, but it's looking like this is probably going to be an old matchup of the 90s Pacers-Knicks Eastern Conference Finals.
Nice.
And I'm kind of excited. I'd love to see if possible to get down there for a game in Indy at some point.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. I've been wanting to. It just never doesn't seem to work out, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a hike for you guys. I know it's not that far, but it's
like a ride between like an hour and a half to 2 hour drive one way.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you want to, you can do it in a day, but it can be a little bit of a rough trip roundabout because, I mean, games don't usually, with the playoffs, sometimes they get weird start times. Like, you can get a, 3:30 start time, so
yeah.
It depends what time it is and where they put you on the schedule, so especially on those weekend games. But, I mean, speaking of weekend games, though, man, I mean, we might as well just go ahead and go right on into the game of the week.
Oh, yes.
Here comes a new challenge!
I am wondering if our games of the week are snake bitten. Because, like, the games that we've watched, and we've watched probably like 10 games now, right? And, like, we had Luka injured the first time we saw him, and then the second time we saw him, he was sick. And LeBron was injured the first time we saw him, and now Steph Curry's out of the game. And it's like, every time we go to watch a game, the big superstar guy is either not there or performing poorly.
And then Ant got hurt in this game.
Yeah.
And tweaked his ankle.
He came back,
does feel like that sometimes.
Yeah, did he come back?
I thought he did.
Who was it? I saw the one guy get his ankle stepped on. I don't know the players well enough to know who he was.
I thought that was Anthony Edwards. Was that not?
It was Anthony Edwards, yeah. I don't know if he came back. I don't remember. I unfortunately didn't get a chance to finish the entire game. I did. I mean, I know pretty much everything that happened, but I unfortunately didn't get a chance to watch the game in its entirety. I got about halfway through the third is how far I got into it. And
you didn't miss anything.
I mean, I know the final score and everything because I did catch the recaps and the box scores and stuff, so I do know for the most part what all happened. I know that, I mean, minus game one, Minnesota's blown the doors off Golden State, and they pretty much outplayed in this entire series.
Yeah.
I mean, because this entire series, Steph hasn't been there.
Right.
Because Steph pulled his hamstring before game one, I think.
That sucks.
Yeah, and without Steph, this team is done. Even with Jimmy Butler, this team isn't the same team. Steph makes this entire team go.
I mean, it's amazing how basketball hinges on one individual player so much.
Yeah.
And, like, I know a lot of times they talk about, like, a powerhouse 2 or something like that, in most basketball teams, but it really just feels like one guy for most teams. That it's like, if this one person falls down, it's done. And it's weird because I'm so used to football where it's like although linemen don't look like they do much, like the linemen are just as important as every other person on the field, and like they're just as much of the play, and like the team wins and fail and loses together. Where it's like basketball, one guy has a bad night and the whole team's just blown up, and it's just like, I don't get it.
Yeah, basketball is this weird, unique sport where, yes, it is a team sport, but at the same time, that top guy is so important to a team and can change a team's identity so much that without a top guy, for the most part, you're not going to win. At least not at a high level. Like, there are teams that have won without having, that 1A top, but it's so rare that it happens that you can't build a franchise around that style of team building. Like, for the most part, you have to have that guy. There has to be that dude to go get you a basket that you have to rely on in crunch time.
I just don't understand why there can't be like 4 or 5 of those guys on one team. Like it's one dude every time.
Yeah, I don't know. It's because a lot of times with basketball, it's one of those things where you don't want to have a ton of those kinds of guys because a lot of times they all want to play as that guy, and then that personalities just don't mesh. You got to have guys that can buy in and play their roles. And yeah, I mean, obviously, when it comes to professional athletes, delusions of grandeur live with them amongst all of them because you have to have that to be at that high a level of ability, and you have to believe in yourself unreasonably so to get to that level.
Yeah,
but like at the same time,
today.
Yeah, and I mean, to a certain point though, you also have to buy into the coach's system and also to a point know your role and how your role fits, and to be that 1A guy that can go get you a basket and to go get it when you need it in crunch time. There's so few guys that can do that in the league that it's hard to find, and those dudes are the ones that really, in all honesty, should be the ones making that top tier money. Like, some of these contracts are just insane in this league, but like, I mean, you've only got 5 to 8 guys in the league, maybe, that can be that dude. Maybe.
Yeah.
So, and the fact that the Lakers have 2 of them on the team and they just need to fill a team out around them is insane.
Yeah.
Never mind the fact that one of them's like, 41, 42 years old.
But hey, man, they got knocked out in the first round this year.
Right.
So
to be fair, they don't have a team around them. It's those two.
Man.
It's 2 superstars. it's 2 of the top 6, 7 dudes in the league. Then a bunch of dudes.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of guys that, for the most part, either should barely be starters or probably should either barely be playing or not on a roster.
Was the Lakers the team we were watching where their passes were going into the audience?
Yeah, they had a couple of those. They didn't have a center. The tallest guy, LeBron was playing center for the team because they didn't have anybody else. JJ didn't play the bench the entire second half because there was nobody on the bench they could play because he didn't trust anybody else. And it's which you kind of expect when you make that kind of a trade mid-season. That's unfortunate with basketball because the rosters are so small. That's going to kind of happen. That was kind of expected. They almost were barely expected to even make the playoffs this year because they didn't have much of a team around them. So the fact that they made the playoffs as a 3 seed at all was more of a wow. That they were shocked that they made it to that point. So, I mean, it wasn't too unexpected that they lost in the playoffs like that, to be fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's one guy like that, like Steph Curry, that one guy is such a linchpin that without him, the team just breaks. And Steve Kerr is just looking for anybody, and you can tell he's just pulling random dudes off the bench to see what, if anything, can stick and can work. And nothing is.
Yeah.
Minnesota's just trouncing them. And the scores make the rest of the games look closer than they are, but Minnesota's just handling this team. And we'll see. I mean, right now I'm bet because the other game tonight is Game 5 of Minnesota and Golden State, and the earliest that Steph could come back is Game 6. So if Minnesota can beat him tonight and finish off that series, I mean, they're not going to have a chance to bring Steph back to play tonight because, I mean, hamstrings are a weird, tough injury because that's just one of those where, I mean, they can linger and they can feel fine, but you just move just the right way and you're done again. And so as much as Steph moves around the court and as quick and as fast as he makes those movements. Even if he feels okay by Game 6, you never know how he's actually going to play, even if when he does get back on the court.
Yeah. It's sad to see it happen, at the worst time.
I mean, this is like the third, I think, superstar we've seen have a major injury in the playoffs this year, because Steph got hurt, Dame Lillard popped his Achilles, and we just had Jason Tatum pop his Achilles in the playoffs. Like, we've had 3 superstars get major injuries like this in the playoffs. So, I mean, it's not... I mean, I think Ja out in Memphis got hurt during their series as well. So, I mean, we've had some injuries like this happening in the playoffs. I think they've said... I was listening to a podcast today, and they said in this playoff so far, we've had 6 different All-Stars get injured and miss games. Because Cleveland had 2 as well. I think Mobley and Garland both were hurt and missed time in Cleveland as well. So, yeah, there's 2 more on the same team that have gotten hurt and missed at least a game. So we've had 6 All-Stars so far this playoff run that have missed time due to injuries in the playoffs. So... it's crazy.
I did think it was funny that Adam called it last week with Draymond Green smacking someone in the face.
I mean, it's Draymond. He's gonna do it every single time.
It was so great because he goes up and just after he loses the ball, he jumps in the air and pretends to flail for some reason and just hits the dude in the face with his elbow. And it was just damn.
And Nas gets the foul, which he did foul him, which is fair. But then Draymond just still elbows him in the face, and he's like, "Wait, what do you mean I get a technical foul?" And then loses his shit.
Yeah.
And then they had to sub him out of the game because he's having a complete meltdown on the court.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, dude, you got to walk it off, man. Just fucking leave. And he has to go. He has to go walk it off basically, and almost go back to the locker room and go sit on the bench because he's having an absolute meltdown in the middle of the court. And it's it's just this is the problem. And the problem is the Golden State's let him do this his entire career, and they've never disciplined him for it. They've let him just do this his entire 13, 14-year career. And it's like, dude, I understand playing with passion because you have to. I mean, once you get to a certain level and to be a certain caliber player, you're going to have to play with passion and be into it. But you've also got to be able to know how to control yourself. And he's never been able to control himself. Between just punching dudes, just straight cold cocking dudes on the court, choking dudes out, kicking dudes in the ding-ding. We've had all this happen in-game, and stomping dudes, legit stomping dudes in the chest. This has all happened in-game, in playoffs. And the league's never really... I mean, the league's suspended him a few different times, but the team itself has never actually done anything, and they've just let it go. And there's never been any accountability from the front office to Steph coming out to say anything, to Steve Kerr saying anything. None of them have ever held Draymond accountable for any of it. Because that's just the way he is.
I have a vague memory of him kicking someone in the head 6 years ago in the playoffs. And I cannot
I mean,
remember.
it's possible. It would not surprise me at all.
I mean, it sounds like he's playing the wrong sport. He needs to go play hockey or something.
I mean,
Jesus.
He may have tried to play football, but he wasn't quite good enough to play basketball instead.
Yeah, he needs real contact sport.
I guess. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. It's just, but yeah, I mean, this is his MO, and then he wonders why he's quote unquote targeted. I'm like, gee, I wonder if it's quote unquote, do you have a track record?
Retaliation.
Yeah, it's because they know you're going to do it. You make it so blatantly obvious and easy to call every single time. And then you only get so many of these technicals before you're automatically suspended. When he got the technical foul, he only has 2 more until he's suspended, which, I mean, if they lose tonight, it doesn't matter. They're out anyway, so it's not going to matter regardless. But it's this has happened before where he's accrued too many technical fouls and he's been suspended for a game, which costs his team the championship. It's happened. It happened in 2016. So it's I mean, he's been a liability before. It wouldn't be the first time.
All right, Adam, who do you have us watching next week?
All right, so we only have one real confirmed game as of right now. The rest are all if necessary. So the only game that for certain is going to play right as of recording right now is tomorrow night's game between the Thunder and the Nuggets.
All right.
And that
this
is going to be
the last one too.
It's Game 6. So Thunder are up 3-2 on the Nuggets, and it's in Denver. So that's our next game. Really, like I said, because it's the only one that we know for certain is going to happen.
So this next week is the conference finals.
Yep.
And then the final week is the full finals. Okay. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if the Thunder win tomorrow night, they go to the Western Conference Finals.
Nice.
So we could see. Yep. So after tomorrow, we could see the conference finals fully set. So because tonight, if New York wins, they've got it clinched, and then if Minnesota wins, they can clinch their series. So if not, I mean, we'll keep going and find out.
All right. That brings us into Geeks and Greeks news. Pete Rose and Shoeless Joe Jackson are among the list of several previously banned ballplayers to be removed from the MLB's permanently ineligible list. MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred has, when questioned about Pete Rose specifically, stated, "In my view, once an individual has passed away, the purpose of Rule 21 has been served. Moreover, it is hard to conceive of a penalty that is more deterrent effect than one that lasts a lifetime with no reprieve. Therefore, I have concluded that permanently ineligibility ends upon the passing of the disciplined individual, and Mr. Rose will be removed from the permanently ineligible list." Now, this means that Pete Rose and Shoeless Joe Jackson are now eligible for the Hall of Fame, but there's still kind of a question of, does he have the votes, or either of them have the votes?
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this, because, like, on one level, it's a lifetime ban. And the lifetime has ended, so the ban can be lifted. Another one of the reasonings I heard behind this was they said he's no longer like a moral threat to baseball or something like that.
Yeah,
like I think I kind of have. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah, a person that no longer is alive cannot represent a threat to the integrity of the game.
Threat to the integrity of the game, and that's the thing is. The Hall of Fame, it's all about legacy. And if you were banned from baseball because of something you did, that's kind of your legacy. And if now, even after he's died, it didn't remove what he did, and that still exists. And, like, I know you'll never get the chance to enjoy yourself to be in the Hall of Fame, but, like, is that really a deterrent to a lot of these guys? Because they're like, I'll get added after I die. It'll be fine. You know, like, I don't know, like, and it's just, I'm not saying that, I don't even really think it's a deterrent. It's kind of silly, like, don't gamble on your own sport. Like, that should be enough of a deterrent because you're playing it. You shouldn't gamble on it, period. Mm-hmm. But I think that the punishment should continue simply because now you're almost excusing legacy because the guy died. And it's like, we were excluding the guy, not the legacy. Now we'll let his legacy go into the Hall of Fame, but his legacy was cheating. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, to me, the way I see it is he accepted the ban. He accepted it. He signed off on it. And honestly, I think he would have gotten the ban lifted if he just would have, showed some actual, remorse and compassion, been like, look, I screwed up and everything, but through his entire life, he always doubled down on everything, and is always acting like a complete dick about the entire situation.
Yeah.
And was always so standoffish about it, and then tried to blame Major League Baseball, and always had made it out like everyone is out to get him. And it's like, dude, you did it. They caught you.
Right.
You admitted you did it, and you signed off on it, and then you talked about it all the time.
Yeah.
It's like, you never took responsibility for any of your actions. Like, why should they put you in? And, to me, it's one of those things where it's like, Yeah, you didn't. Granted, he didn't do it while he was playing. He was managing, but he was still an active member of Major League Baseball in some sort of capacity, being paid by a team, and he was still, a part of a team. And it's like,
and affecting the outcome of the game he was betting on.
Right. And it's like, and it wasn't as if it was some unwritten rule. No, this was a written rule, like the number one written rule of the game that you played that you supposedly said you loved.
Right.
And you knew it. And you knew about the BlackSox. You had to, everybody knew about them. Everybody.
Yeah.
And you knew what happened. And you did it anyway. And it's like, I'm sorry. I think that this, honestly, his was worse than what the steroid era was, because to me, the steroid era saved baseball. Baseball wouldn't be as popular as it is today without the steroid era.
I'd argue that it's losing viewers because it cleaned up the steroids. And if they went back if they were allowing players to juice, it would probably be more popular now than it is now.
Now they're trying to juice the balls and the bats instead of the player.
Right, exactly.
And it's just like, dude, it was, I remember, baseball in, the mid-90s and stuff like that. Nobody really cared. It was dying out. People were not dying, people were losing interest. They truly were. I remember, going back and reading about different stuff, because obviously at the time I didn't read news articles. I was 10, but going back and reading articles, you can see the ratings were on decline, and baseball was having a serious problem because they were losing sponsors, they were losing money, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere, we had this home run battle between Sosa and McGwire in '98 that exploded the ratings, and we would get cut-ins to the game in August and September that would interrupt shows, and not just regular sitcom TV shows. They interrupted some news shows to cut into this. It was a huge deal that they never did before. The World Series would basically trump every show that was on Fox. For 3 years, the World Series came over everything, and it hasn't done that for over 2 decades at this point. They don't cancel shows on TV because of the World Series. They did that for this during the steroid era. Those dudes saved baseball and made it popular to the point where now they're getting $700 million contracts. If it wasn't for guys like McGwire and Bonds and Clemens and Sosa, they wouldn't be in the state that they're at now. Not even close. Now, the league wouldn't have folded, obviously, but it would not be in the position that they're in now.
And honestly, you can't convince me that this is not because they're trying to get in good with legalized gambling, and whenever
they
they
good
bring
with legalized gambling,
what?
Gambling's everywhere in these stadiums.
Yeah, and every time they bring up Pete Rose, they're like, "Oh, why was this amazing ball player banned because of gambling?"
Because he did it while he was playing and managing. If he wasn't managing the team and was gambling, nobody would care. If he wasn't
100%.
employed as a player, nobody would care.
But what I'm saying is they are trying to minimize the reason he was banned because they want to get in good with gambling.
I see your point.
So I think that's the only reason this is happening. But
that's nuts.
That's me.
I did I don't know if you guys remember it, but forever ago, Pete Rose did a commercial, and I don't remember what it was for. But the way it ended was he was hanging a picture of himself in his hallway at home, and his wife was like, "Hey Pete, you're not supposed to be in the hall." And then he's like, "Man, even in my own house." It's so funny.
It sounds familiar.
I think I have seen that commercial.
I will say this: I really do kind of wish, and it would have been funny in the ironic, comical sort of way, is if before he passed, he did commercials for DraftKings and all that. You can't tell me the irony wouldn't have been there. And hilarious.
It's very reminiscent of Lance Armstrong doing that. What was the name of that movie?
Dodgeball.
It's a John Cena
Dodgeball?
No. It's a John Cena movie. It's the Tour de Pharmacy is the name of the movie, and it's a movie about doping and cycling. And Lance Armstrong did a movie about it, and he's throughout the whole movie, and they have him in a dark, with his voice changed, but like you can obviously see he's Lance Armstrong. He's like telling Lance Armstrong's story, and then like at the end of it, they like turn the light on. He's like, "You're sure no one's gonna know who I am, right? Because fuck, I can't have this getting out." It's a great movie, man. John Cena and Dolph Lundgren play the same character, but like decades apart, and so it's like John Cena's in the past doing the race, and Dolph Lundgren's in the future. It's all about like blood doping, and there's this one part where John Cena puts cheetah blood in himself. And then he's like, just because I use the blood of a cheetah, don't mean I'm a cheetah. And then they go to Dolph Lundgren, and he's like, I don't understand. Is it the way I say cheetah or the way I say cheetah? It's so good.
Oh, heck. All right, so moving on to the next story is this past week we had the NBA Draft Lottery. A quick recap. The way the NBA Draft Lottery works is they use numbered ping pong balls to determine the first 4 picks of the NBA draft. The worse your record was last year, the more ping pong balls you get. And after the first 4, whoever's left gets filled in starting at number 5 on. Well, this year, with a 1.8% chance of getting their ping pong ball drawn, the Dallas Mavericks go from the 11th position up to number 1. Followed by the San Antonio Spurs from number 8 to number 2. That only had a 6.3% chance of happening. 76ers, with the most believable thing, was 10.6%. And then the Charlotte Hornets fall from number 3 to number 4 with only 12% chance. Now, I have to quickly throw in here the unbelievable good luck of Dallas for making this chance, but we also have to point out the unbelievable bad luck of Utah, Washington, and New Orleans, who had the 1, 2, and 4 position. There was a nearly 80% chance that one of these teams was going to get drawn in the lottery, and it didn't happen.
Yeah. And ever since the NBA has implemented the lottery, there have been conspiracy theories on how it's rigged ever since this has happened. Because the very first year that the lottery was implemented, the New York Knicks just happened to get Patrick Ewing, who's coming out of Georgetown University. And like, it's funny because people like would slow down the video and everything. You can see like it looks in the video like they hit the Knicks thing on like the side, so it's like crumbled, and you can kind of see which one is the Knicks as they're trying to dig, or as they're like digging into it and pulling it. You can see the corners all messed up on it. There's been so many different like conspiracy theories. Well, and like it's crazy because like there's been so many different things that can lead you down the path of conspiracy with this. Like when the Hornets traded Anthony Davis away, they got the number 1 pick that year. And now that Dallas has traded for Anthony Davis, now they get the number 1 pick again. And like when Dallas actually got the trade, it was funny. So for the 11th pick, Dallas and Chicago actually tied. And they had a coin flip to see who would get the number 11 and number 12 pick. Well, Dallas won the coin toss. So had Chicago won that coin toss, Chicago would have been the one getting the number 1 pick instead of Dallas. But Dallas just happened to win a coin toss. And the same thing happened back in 2017 when Luka got drafted. There was a coin toss for the number 3 for the pick that ended up being Dallas's pick to get Luka. And it's just a bunch of random stuff like this that it's just like, I mean, there's just so many different things. And you get teams that are they're even worse, that just get shafted in this all the time, and it's crazy how this has kind of come about.
I just don't understand it, to be honest with you. Like, if you don't want people to think that your draft is rigged, why don't you just have very simple, straightforward rules about how your draft is set up? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me why they overcomplicate it and overprocess it. And it's like, it is not more fair to pick them randomly. It's just not. It's more fair to pick them in order of need. And the worst teams obviously need the players the most. Like, I don't get it.
And it's especially in a league where you have 2 rounds and the pool of players is very small.
Right.
Yeah. And especially as we were discussing earlier, one player can make or break your team.
Exactly.
Like, and it's also one of those things too, where it's like, I mean, Dallas getting the number 1 pick would be the equivalent of this year, like in the NFL drafts, the 49ers had the 11th pick in this year. No, who had the 11th pick in this year's draft? Was it the Colts?
We lost you for a second.
Colts had 14. No, the 49ers. The 49ers had the 11th pick in this year's draft. So basically, the 49ers would have gotten the number 1 pick if the NFL had the same kind of lottery that the NBA does. So the 49ers would have jumped from 11 to 1, and then the worst team, which was the Titans, would have dropped to number 5.
I mean, think about how different of a world we would be in right now, because we would have a quarterback controversy in San Francisco with Brock Purdy.
So San Francisco would have drafted Cam Ward instead of Mikael Williams. So then we'd have Cam Ward and Brock Purdy fighting it out for the quarterback spot.
Or Travis Hunter would have gone first overall.
Maybe. Yeah, I mean, that's possible. So, it's like, I mean, but it's stuff like that. And it's just like, I mean, I don't know.
Uh-oh.
One thing that baseball has done, because I think baseball started doing a lottery like this, but I think one of baseball's rules that I learned today is you cannot be in the top 5 of the draft in the lottery 2 years in a row. So if you're in the top 5 this year, you cannot be in the top 5 next year, no matter how bad you are.
You're just ineligible?
So if you're like the worst team the next year, the best you can do is 6.
So
it gives you an incentive to try to be better than the bottom 5.
What?
That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
There
are tons of NFL teams that are perennial top 5 in the draft.
Yeah.
I think it's true. They try to be, though.
Well, hopefully they're not trying to be. They just kind of end up that way.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, though, I'd be fine if the Jets are not allowed to pick better than 5 since they're there all the time. They can't draft well anyway.
Yeah.
But even when you have an amazing player that you drafted, you just sometimes have trouble signing that contract. Well, that's what happened to Shamar Stewart with Cincinnati. Now, around 60% of the 2025 draft picks have already signed their rookie contracts. Shamar Stewart and the Bengals have not come to an agreement. Since a contract is not in place, Shamar has been absent from training camp, and some sportcasters are criticizing Shamar Stewart's work ethic, saying that Shamar Stewart should be working with the team during training camps while getting the contracts worked out.
If you're good at something, never do it for free.
It's fair.
Yeah, and it's funny, like, in kind of going back, like, I mean, I'm surprised. I haven't seen a rookie holdout like this for a little while now. Because with the new CBAs and the way the rookie deals are kind of structured, the rookie contracts almost seem like almost a formality at this point.
Yeah.
I was trying to think, was Le'Veon Bell a rookie when he did his Steelers holdout, or was that later in his...
Nah, that was way later in his career. He was like a 7-year vet by that point.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, when he did his holdout, that pretty much ended his career, to be honest. Because he held out for like the entire season, and then by the time he came back, he was pretty much toast.
It's kind of crazy how that works out. Like, a full season holdout always ends up worse for the player than it does for any of the teams. Like, it pretty much never works. And I think that's part of the thing he's going to run into. I don't think holding out your rookie year it's not good for your career, is basically what I mean. And I don't know. Part of me wants to say just pay the guy, pay them the way he wants to be paid. Like, it's something I was reading about how it was about the way his contract was structured, and that he needed to be like on the roster during training camp next year to receive a bonus or something like that. I don't know. It seems like it's one of those things where it's like, okay, I get your point, but holding out at the very, very beginning doesn't bode well for anyone in this situation. Like, I just think it's a bad idea, and I think his agent's giving him bad advice, and he should just go play football and negotiate a contract. I don't know what the best move is, because it's like I worry his career is going to suffer because of it, is what I'm getting at. And like,
yeah,
I feel for him, but
so apparently there are two key reasons why Shamar Stewart is holding out, according to Mike Florio from PFT, citing percentage of compensation in future years to be paid as a training camp roster bonus is the main reason. But apparently the second reason is the injury protection waiver that the Bengals have as part of their rookie contract. So apparently the Bengals are the only team in the NFL that don't fully have a full injury protection waiver for their rookies.
So, like, they're not going to pay us out if you get injured?
Yeah.
That's horseshit.
Yeah.
That's absolute horseshit.
So there's also the injury protection portion of this equation. A source told the Inquirer if a team offered a more protected participation agreement, Stewart will be willing to practice while negotiations of his deal are ensued. This is why it is unrealistic to expect Stewart to participate in any of the voluntary practices until the two sides have come to an agreement on the full contract or more protection in the participation agreement. So yeah, so until he's signed, if he gets hurt, he's out.
Right.
Yeah.
Because the Bengals don't offer any kind of injury protection to their rookies. They're the only team that does this.
That's stupid.
And apparently their second round pick, Demetrius Knight, is also holding out, but apparently that should be taken with a grain of salt considering the source, but it doesn't say what the source is. It's ML football? I don't know. But yeah, apparently they're supposedly their second round pick is also holding out for the same injury protection clause as well, because of this injury protection clause as well.
You know, we just went through the team scorecard at the end of the season, and I remember Cincinnati was in the gutter for most of these things. What is your problem?
Yeah.
So yeah, this is what happens when your team is in the stuck in the 50s, apparently.
Yeah.
But yeah, so apparently Cincinnati just doesn't take care of its players very well.
Sad.
All right. In closing, I will say to all the sportscasters giving Shamar Stewart crap about not participating without a contract, screw you. Because no professional worth his salt is going to go to work without a contract in play. And I'm not talking about athletes. I'm talking any professional isn't going to start working without getting paid. That's how that works. Because it's not just money. It's also legal protection. Because without a contract, he's a volunteer, and he only gets protections under volunteer protections, which is just crap. So, no professional is going to go volunteer their services like this. It's crazy.
I mean, they are called voluntarily.
Yeah. And I don't believe he'll be out I don't believe he's going to hold out for the entire. They'll figure something out. He's their first round draft pick. They're going to get it figured out.
I would hope so.
I mean, again, this is also voluntary rookie camp. I don't put a ton of stock into these rookie camps, to be honest with you. I mean, we see guys participating. We can kind of see some stuff, but at the same time, I don't think we see anything of any real substance until we get truly into more preseason, and then even then into real games. Because right now we're just basically doing 7-on-7 flag football drills and slow-moving walkthroughs. So we just want football back so bad that we're dying for anything, whether it's volunteer rookie camps or not.
I think that's fair. That's definitely fair.
I mean, we just eat football up in this country. We'll take anything we can get at this point.
Including the release of a 2025 schedule.
Yes.
Which, so far, what we know for sure is week 1 is the Cowboys versus the Eagles.
Yay!
Yes, we do. It feels weird that this is the start of the season.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Dallas kind of doesn't deserve the first game of the season.
No, not at all. I mean, honestly, to me, the first game of the season should always be a rematch of the Super Bowl to me. I want to see Chiefs-Eagles week 1.
Yeah, but I mean, the problem with that is AFC and NFC teams only play each other every 4 years. So you're kind of breaking the algorithm if you do that. And I mean, so what? Let the algorithm break, but at the same time, like, there are algorithms for a reason. And yeah.
Oh, and plus I was just going to say, I kind of want to see that rematch happen more in the middle of the season, like week 9. I don't want it to be week 1.
Right. I mean, you should be excited about this, Adam. I mean, Dak's not going to be hurt. He's not going to be choking. It's not going to be December where it's real cold and you can't throw the football anymore.
I mean,
it's football in the summer. This is right up Texas's alley.
It's true. I mean, yeah, it's true. We are playing in Philly at this point, so true.
Yeah.
It's weird that we're playing in Philly. Usually the Philly game's like the last game of the season. It feels weird.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's Super Bowl champs, baby. You gotta host that.
I mean, yeah, you guys should get the home game. It just feels weird that we're playing. Usually we play in Philly at the last game. Like, it's usually week 16 or 17.
Right.
When we get, like, the Dallas-Philly in Philly, usually.
Yeah.
Which is also why this shouldn't be a week 1 game. Like, the Dallas-Philly game needs to be the end of the season in Philly. That's just the way it always is.
Ooh, season closer. I love it.
Yeah, it's what it normally is. It's normally either, like, the closer or, like, the second to last week.
But fast forwarding to week 10, where we have the Falcons versus the Colts in Germany, and we also have the Eagles at Green Bay.
Yeah.
I think
German
I'm more
game.
interested in the Green Bay Eagles game.
I mean, the international games are always cool. It's always also nice when they don't send the absolute trash over to the international games. Like, I think the Colts are going to be a middle-of-the-road team again this year. Like, again, I mean, I'm thinking right around 500, and the Falcons should be right around 500. It's like we're not sending, like, we're not sending the Jaguars and the Panthers over there again. Like, but, like, I mean, we're also not sending, like, we're not giving them... we're not giving them Bills Ravens either, but which I honestly kind of wish we'd give them at least one game that's like that. Give them one real football game.
The real funny thing is this year, the Vikings seem to be the sacrificial lamb as they have 2 overseas games.
Yeah, first team ever.
Yeah, 1 in week 4 in Dublin and 1 in week 5 in London.
They're going to stay in the United Kingdom. They're not coming back.
Which makes sense. There's no reason to bring them back. Yeah, just leave them there.
But it's the first time a team has ever played back-to-back overseas games, which is pretty cool.
I'm kind of surprised the Jags have never done that, to be honest with you, since they're basically the London Jaguars at this point.
Yeah, I don't think it was back-to-back. I think they've had more than one international in a season.
Yeah, they've never done a back-to-back.
But never
I'm just surprised they haven't,
back-to-back.
because we might as well just do them back-to-back to get them out of the way.
Right.
Saves you on a lot of travel.
I think that the Eagles game could be pretty good. The Packers might be better this year. And I mean, this is a rematch of the Brazil game, which
it is. Yep.
If you guys remember, Saquon started that game falling flat on his face.
Hey, you know what? Maybe Saquon will, and the season ended amazingly well for Saquon. So hey, maybe he should start the same way this year. Just fall flat in your face again first play, and then pick it up from there.
Start at -3 yards, and then you go for over 2,000.
Yeah, all right.
Fast forward to week 13, where we have the Chiefs at Dallas on Thanksgiving and Bears at Eagles on Black Friday.
Yeah.
I love how, one way or another, we always have our Cowboys and Indians football game on Thanksgiving.
Right?
Yep.
Full schedule.
Oh, did they finally release it?
They dropped the full schedule.
Nice.
Breaking news.
All right, so full schedule, week 1. I mean, we've already said we got Cowboys, Eagles start the season on Thursday. Colts will play the Dolphins in Indy on Sunday, September 7th, that first week. Other than that, I mean, we got Lions, Packers, which could be a good game. Ooh, Ravens, Bills has the Sunday night game, week 1.
That's going to be good.
That's going to be a pretty good one. And then we have what could be a good game, but probably not, honestly. First week Monday night's really super weak. Vikings, Bears, week 1 Monday night.
So the matchup of who cares.
Yeah.
All right.
So it's a matchup of the bottom feeders of the NFC North.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, other than that, I mean, not bad. We got Buccaneers, Falcons, Chiefs, Chargers. Ooh, Bengals, Browns, guys. Who's up for that one?
Yeah, let's go. Battle of Ohio, baby.
The Ohio
Battle of the Big
Firefight.
Cats. We got Panthers Jags week 1.
Ugh.
Raiders Patriots. There we go. And they did not come out swinging for week 1 at all. Cardinals Saints, Steelers Jets, Giants Commanders, Titans Broncos, 49ers Seahawks, Texans Rams. We got a bunch of meh to mid games, except for like Ravens and Bills.
Yeah.
Honestly. I mean, Dallas-Philly might be a really good game. I don't know what to make of Dallas this year. I really, really don't.
Yeah.
With the new coach that's never been a head coach before and didn't even call the offensive plays last year, because McCarthy did.
Yeah.
He was the offensive coordinator but didn't call plays. I mean, we've got 2 kind of semi-washed out running backs and some rookies in the backfield. But, I mean, with the addition of George Pickens, I don't know, man. I don't know what Dallas is going to look like. This is going to be a very interesting week 1. Talk about being tested on the first week of the season.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. We'll definitely see, but...
I'd love to see... Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'm kind of right there with you when it comes to the Colts. I'm interested to know who I'm rooting for. Who is going to be that starting quarterback?
Yeah.
We'll
Daniel
find out.
Jones, baby. Let's go. Speaking of Daniel Jones, I hope that the New York Giants just blow the bricks off the Commanders. Like, out of nowhere, they come out of the gate running super hard, just destroy the Commanders, ruin their confidence. Week 1 in Washington. Like, it can happen. It's the NFC East, man. Every now and again, you get one of those
Anything can
games
happen.
where, like, the worst team in the division just lights up the best team in the division, and I hope it happens week 1. That'll be great.
So what you're saying is Dallas is going to blow out the Eagles week 1, then just have like a shit show for the rest of the season.
Listen. I didn't say anything about our game, all right?
I was wondering where you were coming from with the Giants Commanders, because like I was like, what did the Giants have that can stand up to what?
I mean, the Commanders. I mean, the thing with the Commanders of last year, the Commanders' defense wasn't great. Their
That's
offense
true.
was amazing. Their defense was kind of just mid to mediocre.
Yeah, they were the bottom third, I think.
Yeah, so we'll
but
see if they
the
can
Giants
shore up
have
that
no
defense.
offense, so like it doesn't
Yeah.
matter how bad the defense is in Washington.
So yeah, this is true. I mean, we'll see what happens with the rookies and stuff and everything going on in New York. I mean, they may at least give a run for the money for number 3 in the division. So
Yeah.
it may not be 2-10 next year, or 2-14, 2-15.
I have a hole in my memory, but I know that Washington just picked up a serious weapon for Jaden Daniels, and I cannot remember who it was. But it was someone they picked up off of free agency. And my brain.
Wide receiver.
Yeah.
I can't think of it either.
Dang it.
Ooh, there we
Yeah,
go.
I mean, it's
Oh, did you get it?
No. I'm looking at the Giants offense here. We got Jackson Dart could be their quarterback.
Oh, Debo Samuels. That's who it was.
That's it.
yeah. Sorry, I thought you meant like just signed him. Sorry. Yeah,
No,
they got
earlier.
Deebo Samuel. So and
Yeah.
they got him for like I feel like
Dirt
they overpaid
cheap.
for him though. Like a 3rd round pick or something. No, 5th round pick.
5th round
Yeah,
pick.
it
Yeah,
was
that
a
sounds
5th.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
But anyways, moving on to the NBA playoffs. We kind of already covered this. Right now, the Knicks are trailing the Celtics. I didn't see that coming. With a little bit of time left in the 3rd quarter, Celtics are up 91-76.
wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh man, they could have, dude. So I'm looking at the schedule this year for the NFC East. We're playing the AFC West. They could have totally opened the season with Philly, Kansas City.
Oh man, that's
Yeah.
completely missed.
Yeah, we're playing the AFC West, so we could have
Come
totally
on
had
now.
first game of the season, Philly, Kansas City, and a rematch of the Super Bowl.
Let's see it.
Percent.
That's disappointing.
I should have known that because Dallas is playing Kansas City for Thanksgiving.
That's
That's
right.
Thanksgiving game is Dallas, Kansas City. So, yeah.
That's disappointing.
Chiefs-Eagles is the second game.
Week 2?
Jesus.
Yeah.
That's...
Because it's Chiefs-Chargers in 1, and then Chiefs-Eagles is 2.
Hey, Tom, you want to go see the Cowboys play the Bears up in Chicago on week 3?
There you go.
Closest they're going to come around here, at least this year.
We don't get Chiefs-Eagles anymore this year. It's just
now
number 2.
Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Oh well. But that moves us into the trivia section with a game I call Two Truths and a Lie, Part 5.
Right.
I will give you an NFL team, and I will make 3 statements about that team. 2 of them are true, but 1 of them is a lie. If you can figure out which one is a lie, you gain a point. Whoever has the most points at the end of the night wins. And we'll start with the Detroit Lions. We are the first team to have a winless season in the Super Bowl era, ignoring strike seasons. We won more postseason games in 2023 than every other Super Bowl era season combined. And we are the only NFC team without a Super Bowl appearance.
Only NFC team without a Super Bowl appearance.
Yes.
Let's see. NFC teams.
Actually, I'm pretty sure the lie is they are not the only winless team.
But the first winless team?
Yeah. Because I'm pretty sure the Buccaneers went winless in like their first or second season when they were around in the 80s. But they were the thing is the Lions were have the record for the most losses in a season because they lost 16 games. But the Buccaneers went 0-14 because they didn't play 16 games. So I'm gonna go with the lies. They're not the first team to go completely winless.
All right, and Pete, what do you think?
Has Carolina ever been to the Super Bowl?
Yes, they went in 2015 and got smoked by the Broncos when Peyton Manning couldn't throw the ball more than 5 yards downfield.
That's right. That's right.
And the defense bailed them out. That was Cam's MVP season.
Cam's MVP season. Okay. All right. So then I will say that that's probably true, that they're the only ones that have never been to a Super Bowl. And then what was the middle one?
We won more postseason games in 2023 than every other Super Bowl era season combined.
More postseason games in 2023 than... That can't be true. I'm going to say that's the lie.
Alrighty. We are, in fact, the only NFC team without a Super Bowl appearance. And it is also true that we won 2 postseason games in 2023, and besides that, we only won 1 in 1991.
Holy cow.
Yeah, dude, Detroit Lions football history is bleak.
That is insane.
It's bleak.
That is insane. You're like, in 2023, that's a single year. The most postseason games they could have won is 4. Surely, in the last 60 years, they have won more than 4 postseason games.
No, they won that 1 year with Barry Sanders, and that's it.
The only time they ever won a postseason game was against the Cowboys in 91. That was it.
Oh my god. That's crazy.
It's more embarrassing it was against the Cowboys.
But Adam is absolutely right. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 1976 went winless in their premier season, and they are the first team to go winless in the Super Bowl era.
Yeah, the Bucs first 3 or 4 seasons, I think they won a total of 4 games or something like that.
Yeah, it was bad. Next we come to the Miami Dolphins. Our first mascot was a live dolphin named Flipper. We are the only team to score 70 or more points in a game since the turn of the century. And we hold the record for the most fumbles in a single season during the Super Bowl era.
I totally believe that they had a live dolphin as their mascot back in like the 60s and the 50s.
I agree, but I don't think it would have been named Flipper. Flipper was the name of like some sitcom in the 80s about a dolphin. That like
Right.
It was like Lassie, but he was a dolphin. I don't know how he found Timmy in the well.
You found him in the ocean.
Yeah, Timmy was drowning in the ocean and Flipper saved him. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with that one. I think it's the mascot.
I feel like they did score more than 70 at one point. I don't know, man. Maybe not.
But the only team to score?
To score 70? I mean, that's a lot of points. That's not college football.
Yeah, but in 25 years?
I can't. I think that's.
And then
I think the lie is. What was the last one about fumbles?
We hold the record for the most fumbles in a single season during the Super Bowl era.
I'm going to go with that. I don't believe that they have the most fumbles.
All right. We are the only team to score 70 or more points in a single game since the turn of the century, when in 2023 scored 70-20 against the Broncos. Normally I'd say in the Super Bowl era, but it turns out in 1966, the very first year of the Super Bowl era, the Redskins did it against the Giants.
damn.
And our first mascot was indeed a live dolphin named Flipper.
Wow.
Apparently, their copyright laws were a little lax back then.
Yeah, I guess so.
But we do not hold the record for the most fumbles in a single season, as that distinction is held by the San Francisco 49ers in 1978, recorded 56 fumbles. That's 3.5 fumbles a game.
Jeez.
Wow. Fumble-rooski, man.
Yeah. My goodness.
Jeez.
Next, we come to the Houston Texans. Our official team colors are battle red, liberty white, and deep steel blue. We have only retired one number, and we are the only team to never make it to the conference championship.
Oh, man.
So
I can see that.
I think the colors are just true. I don't see anything in the colors that stands out to me that would be a lie. I think they are the only team that's never made it to a championship. So I'm going to go with... I forget what the other one you said was now.
We have only retired one number.
I mean, they've only been around since like 96.
2002.
2002. Something like
Which makes sense, because, I mean, I could see J.J. Watt was probably the number they retired, because that dude is an absolute monster.
Yeah, I'm still going with that one being the lie, though.
Yeah, I could see that, because I'm like, yeah, because the conference championship makes sense, because, I mean, they've been around since 2002, and, like, I don't think they've ever made past divisionals. So, yeah, I think that that's probably true, but I don't want to agree with you. So I'm going to say that the names of the colors are slightly different, so I'm going to go with that one, that's the lie.
All right, and Pete, what was your lie?
My lie is that they have only retired one. That they've only retired one number.
All right, we are the only team to never make it to the conference championship. This is true.
Yeah.
And our official team colors are battle red, liberty white, and deep steel blue. But we cannot say that we've only retired one number, as the Baltimore Ravens, the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Cowboys, the Raiders, and us, the Texans, don't believe in retiring numbers. So we have not retired any.
Boo. Retiring a number is the best thing ever. Get out of here.
Yeah, I hate that. I really, really hate that they don't retire numbers on those teams.
But yeah,
it's
just
the
those
dumbest
5
thing
teams.
ever. Baltimore surprises me about that, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Jacksonville makes sense because they've honestly had really nobody worth retiring their numbers.
Chris John.
They've had
no, wait,
maybe
Chris
2
Johnson.
guys.
Blake Bortles.
Yeah, yep. Blake Bortles, man, that's it. Justin Blackman.
Let's go.
Next, we come to the Atlanta Falcons. In the Super Bowl era, we have drafted the most running backs of any team. Our team colors are inspired by the face paint worn by the Eastern Cherokee as they prepared for war. And one of our coaches used to motivate players with explosives.
I kind of hope that one's the lie.
Which team are we talking about again?
Atlanta Falcons.
Oh,
So red, white, and black, right, would be their colors.
make sense for the face paint.
Yeah, I think I agree with that one.
The well, when was the Falcons? The Falcons have been around for a while.
Yeah.
So I think they've been around since like the late 60s and the 70s, something like that. I could see the motivation of explosives being around then because they were pretty lax on what was legal and what was not legal. So I could actually see that being a thing.
Socially
They drafted the
acceptable
most running
explosives.
backs. I think the draft of the most running backs is a lie.
I am going to go with the explosive.
All right. One of our coaches did, in fact, motivate the players with explosives. Interim head coach Jim Hannafin in Week 13 in 1989 used a stick of dynamite to motivate his players that they needed to be more explosive off the line. And then
Jesus.
he upped the ante with 3 hand grenades.
What?
Before finally bringing in a disarmed bomb painted black and red before someone told him, hey, maybe you should cut back on this.
What is going on?
I mean, okay, I knew the 80s were different, but, dude, Jesus Christ, man. Like I said, I saw that flying in, the 70s. I didn't know that was flying in 89. My God.
My goodness, I was alive then.
Yeah, shit, dude.
And also, in the Super Bowl era, we have drafted the most running backs of any team at 92.
Jeez.
With the Cowboys close at our heels with 91.
Wow.
But we cannot say that our team colors were inspired by the face paint of the Eastern Cherokee, as we literally stole it from the Georgia Bulldogs.
They just inverse the colors. Instead of red primary, it's black primary.
Yep.
Wow.
We are super imaginative.
I love how we both got suckered in. We're like, yeah, face paint, that totally makes sense.
Why not?
I mean, I could totally see it. But
like
then
the
again, to be
damn-
fair, this is Georgia. Why would they ever give Native Americans any credit for anything?
I mean, that's
anything?
fair. But it was like the Wisconsin cheese, man.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but they like cheese in Wisconsin. They don't like Native Americans in Georgia.
I've never been to Georgia, so I guess I don't know.
Did you not pass history class?
Okay, and for our last team of the evening, we have the Cleveland Browns, who are saying, we are the only NFL team with 3 official mascots. We won the first NFL championship. We won the first NFL championship, which we were in the league. And in the 20 years before the Super Bowl, we appeared in 13 league championships, but never appeared in a Super Bowl.
This is like that thing where Green Bay saying they've won the most championships because they won a bunch of times before the Super Bowl era.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's true. I think them being in the most league championships is probably true before the
Because
Super
Jim
Bowl.
Brown was around.
Right. So the 3 mascots, I don't even know what their official mascot is.
I know they had, they used to have a bulldog as a mascot for a little while. They had a bulldog mascot as an alternate. They had I don't know if you call him an elf. They had an elf-ish kind of character as a mascot or something like that. And they have the helmet. But the elf thing was an 80s thing. I don't know if that still counts or not. I don't know. Because you got the Bulldogs. Because you got the Dog Pound up in Cleveland.
Right.
And like I said,
What was the other one?
We got one for the three mascots. Pardon me. We won the first NFL championship. We were in the league.
First NFL championship, the first year they got in the league.
And they've been in 13 NFL championships, but never to an actual Super Bowl. I mean, we know they've never been to a Super Bowl, so we know that's true.
Yeah.
So we know that's true. Which I feel kind of bad about. I mean, they had some good teams back in the day.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lose sleep over it, but
No,
kind
at all.
of bad.
I laugh at them. I don't feel bad at all.
I mean, like every now and then, like it's like one of those things where like every now and then they get like that flash in the pan team where they're good for like 2 seasons,
Right?
And then everything falls apart,
right? So I think I'm gonna go with the mascots because I can't think of what their mascots would be if there were 3 of them.
I'm gonna say that they did not win the NFL championship the first year that they were in the league, but yeah, yep.
Okay.
I'm gonna stick with it.
All right. In the 20 years before the Super Bowl, we did indeed win 13 league championships. And then as soon as they established the Super Bowl, we never won again. And also, we did indeed win the first NFL national championship.
Damn.
In the league in 1949 when the Browns joined the NFL, winning the championship. Their first season.
And it was the NFL, not the AFL.
Yeah. And but I cannot say that we are the only team with 3 mascots, as the Baltimore Ravens and the Seattle Seahawks also have 3 mascots, with Poe, Rise, and Conquer for the Baltimore Ravens, and the Seattle Seahawks with Blitz, Boom, and Timey. Apparently they have a rescue Seahawk that is a live Seahawk that they have as their unofficial. It's an official mascot, but wow, that name is weird. But yes, Adam is correct. The Browns have Chomps the Bulldog, Swagger Jr., a guy in a costume, and Brownie the Elf.
Brownie the Elf.
Yeah,
all right.
I remember the elf and the bulldog. I didn't know the third one.
Chomps is apparently a rescue bulldog, or maybe I'm getting Swagger Jr. and Chomps mixed up, but one of them's a real dog and one of them's a guy in a costume.
I mean, I would call Chomps the actual bulldog.
I feel bad. I gotta get this cleared up now. Okay, Chomps is the guy in the costume, and Swagger Jr. is the real bulldog. But with a final score of 2-2, we have a tie.
Oh, we did it again. Holy crap, now that I'm looking up Brownie the Elf, I totally remember this guy.
Yeah, right? I think he was primarily used in the 80s. You don't see him very often now. It was like an 80s and kind of a 90s
This
logo.
thing right here seems to say dates all the way back to 47.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I haven't really seen him since
Yeah.
the 80s. They kind of stopped. It's been the Browns helmet since they left went to
Yeah.
Baltimore, then came back.
Which is kind of lame.
Yeah. I mean, the Browns are lame. It's a lame name for a team.
It is.
Granted, yes, they're named after Paul Brown, the dude that founded the team, but it's still lame.
Yeah. Agreed.
I would still give that over Boom.
But I mean, I'd rather be called the Indians over the Browns. I don't care what connotation it has. I'd take the Indians over the Browns.
Yeah.
Oh, heck.
So, all right, but I think that's going to be about it for this week. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, rest in peace, my man Sabu. He left us earlier in the week, and he apparently had his retirement match back in April, and sucks to see him go, but I'm sure he wouldn't have wanted it any other way. Basically wrestled until the day he died.
I got a quick story to tell you about a young lady named Bree Ellis. She's a senior at Arkansas and is one of, if not the best hitter in the SEC Women's Softball League.
Nice.
So good that last week against Georgia, she was intentionally walked 6 times. But in the last inning, with the score tied 1-1 and the bases loaded, Ellis came to bat, and they had no choice but to actually throw to her, and she crushed it. Knocked it across the back wall, ending the score in 5-1 and sending Arkansas into the quarterfinal round of the SEC tournament. Way to go, Bree Ellis.
I'm not going to lie, I really thought you were going to say she struck out at the end there.
Poor Casey.
Tune in to the MLB this weekend for Rivalry Weekend. This is 11 of the 15 series being matches between prime interleague rivals. This should be interesting. And also the All-Star race in NASCAR is on Sunday. Tune in. It'll be super cool.
All right. I didn't know they were doing the All-Star race already.
I didn't know they did an all-star race.
It's just a race. I don't even know what the difference is between a regular race and that race.
They're all stars, though.
Yeah, every race is the all-star race. That's how it works.
It's NASCAR. They just go in a circle. It's so easy a YouTuber can do it. But I want to say also, too, that as we saw earlier this week or into last week, that Derek Carr is retiring. And I just want to say congratulations on a successful career.
Yeah.
And it's sad to see him hanging him up, and it sucks that he had to go out because of injury, but he's had a debilitating rotator cuff in his throwing shoulder and just could not work through it and play through it anymore, and it was time to call it a career. And it sucks to see guys go out because of debilitating injuries like that, so...
Yeah.
I'd always prefer to see him go out on their terms more so than because of an injury, but unfortunately with football, a lot of times you don't get that luxury. So it was a good career. It was fun watching you play, sir, and we hope you have a good life in the future.
I second that.
So,
amen.
But that'll be it for this week on the Geeks and Greeks podcast. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Make sure to subscribe and like so you never miss an episode of the Geeks and Greeks podcast. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and Amazon, as well as Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can also reach us on email at geeksandgreeks365@gmail.com. Until next time, guys, may the coin toss of life ever be in your favor. Later.
Peace. See ya.
Peace.